Hey there, today I am going to talk about what boggles our mind. Okay, so sometimes our brains go like this when we're trying to learn new English words. That's true. There are some words that really boggle your mind. Why? Because they sound similar, they look similar, and you end up thinking that they even mean the same. But that's not true. So in today's lesson, I want you to really pay attention because if you stick with me until the end, you will understand how you can use these words in different ways. And guess what? For all of you who are giving an IELTS exam or a Cambridge writing test, this is really important. I know that you're probably making a mistake either with writing or with spellings. So stay tuned and watch with me until the end. Now, these two words, they kind of look the same, right? Kind of mind-boggling, I would say. But how are they different? Number one, first of all, this is allude, which means you have the sound. This word is not elude, it is elude. Okay, that's the pronunciation difference. Okay, don't be confused. This is allude and this is elude. But now, just because they look the same, obviously they don't mean the same, because allude means to refer to something indirectly. Okay, so I'm not talking about something directly, but I want to make a reference to it in an indirect way. Let's go to this other word. What does it mean? It means to avoid or escape, which means you're running away from something, right? That's what elude means. Now, how do I use allude? I could say something like, his speech alluded to many social problems in the city. What does that even mean? It means that when he was giving his speech, he did not directly say that, you know what, there are so many social problems in our country. No, he may have said something like, a lot of people in our city are very unhappy. So indirectly, it kind of makes you think that there are problems in the society or social problems, and therefore people are unhappy. So sometimes when your words, when you want to give a very subtle approach to your speech or your presentations, you must use this word allude, how to allude to topics without directly talking about them. All right? Let's talk about elude. Not but elude. He is a career criminal, okay, and has eluded many cops in the last decade. Okay, so a criminal obviously is involved in so many crimes, and there are probably a lot of cops and authorities running after them, and he is trying to run away from them. So he has eluded them. Okay, let's look at some more words which can confuse you. But I'm going to make sure they don't confuse you anymore. So stay with me. We've got two other words. One is collaborate and one is corroborate. Okay? One thing I want to tell you is that these two words mean, obviously, they're very different in their meaning, but these two O's are very deceptive. You know what's deceptive? They are there just to fool you. You never say collaborate. You simply say collaborate. Similarly, you don't say corroborate, you say again, just So collaborate, corroborate. Collaborate and corroborate. But let's get to the meaning. What do they mean? To work together. Okay, so if I work with you, we collaborate, right? But corroborate, now this is a word that you can actually use to prove that something is true. Okay, so you've given a fact, but if you want to corroborate your fact, you have to give evidence. Now, a lot of you who are IELTS test takers, you have to give examples to corroborate what you're saying in your writing test, right? So use this word. You can use the word in your writing test to say, okay, to corroborate this, blah, blah, blah. Go ahead with your sentence, okay? So this is a very good word to use. Collaborate and corroborate, all right? In a sentence, you could say the two influencers, right? This is very common when you, on your Instagram account, you have two influencers. What do? They collaborated for the first time. They worked together for the first time, okay? They made a reel or whatever it is that they make. And in this sentence, you could say the two witnesses in court corroborated her story, okay? So in court, this usually happens, right? When you are in front of the judge, you give your story, but who's going to believe you if you don't prove it to be true? In other words, you need someone to corroborate what you're saying in court, okay? All right then, I hope that has not boggled your mind anymore. So let's go to the next one, which is device versus devise. Now, pay attention to this, okay? This has got the s sound, s, like a hiss of a snake. And this over here has got the zzz, the sound of a honeybee buzzing in your ear, okay? So we've got a device and a devise, okay? But of course, they have different meanings. So what is the meaning? A device is basically a machine or an equipment, right? It could be anything like your mobile phone, your laptop. These are all devices. A device is actually a verb. It is to plan something, okay? It is to plan something. So when you are planning something, you are devising a plan, okay? You are making a plan, all right? So in a sentence, I could say, no electronic devices must be stored in the check-in luggage. That's true. That is an airline rule. So if you're flying, in your check-in luggage, do not keep any electronic devices. So what about devise, where you have to plan something? I can say he devised, which means he planned. It's an action, a verb. He planned or he devised a really nice plan that helped him succeed. Well, if you want to succeed anywhere in life, whether it is your career or anything else, you need a good plan. You need to devise it, okay? All right, then I'm now going to go to the next one, which is addition versus addition. Okay, now I cannot tell you how many students say this incorrectly. Like I'm talking about even those who have learned advanced English and who have spent like years in their career. A lot of people call this addition. It's not it is addition. And this word is addition, okay? So this is not addition, this is addition, and this is addition. What's the difference in meaning? Let's have a look. Addition means when something is added, okay? Basically this word ADD, add, means to add something. So addition basically means just that. And the word addition means a new version, okay? So it could be a new version of a book, a new version of a device, right? You have an iPhone, which is a device, and you have a new addition, right? Not addition, but addition. But now let's come to the sentence. We served cookies in addition to the pie and cake. Okay, so you came to my party and I gave you a pie and a cake and I said, no, I want to give you some more. So I added something to that. So in addition to pie and cake, I served you cookies. Okay, all right then, let's look at addition. I can't wait for the next edition of this book. You know, when I was a kid, we were reading Harry Potter and I could not really wait for the next edition, which means I wanted the new version, the new book, because I could not wait to get my hands on it. Okay, so that's addition and addition for you. All right, time to unboggle your mind a little bit more. So I'm going to go with access, which means your ability to enter or have permission to enter. You can be able, you can have the ability to enter if someone gives you the permission, right? So sometimes we don't get access, right? We don't. This is access, okay? On the other hand, this word is not excess. It's not It is excess, okay? Now, what does this mean? It basically means more than required, okay? So you need so much, but you have more. So let's talk about access first, which is the permission to enter. I can say you can't have access to the server room without an ID card, right? That's true. You will be charged for excess baggage at the airport, okay? So you're only allowed 21 kgs, but you wanted to go ahead and bring 25 kgs. Why would you do that? Well, if you do that, what does it mean? It means that you have excess baggage. Not excess, but excess, okay? Let's go to the next pair of phrases, the pair of words, which are personal and personnel, okay? Notice the slight change in pronunciation. This is personal. I stress the personal, and this is personnel. I'm stressing the last syllable, okay? So, why are they different? Well, they're also different in their meaning. Personal means something which is private, only to myself. On the other hand, personnel means we're referring to employees or workers of an organization or a company. Let's take a look at a sentence. You have no business in my personal matters. That's true. Nobody can make personal comments at you because nobody has any business to do with your personal matters. But for this word, you can say the marketing personnel is not available for comment at this point in time, at this moment. Okay, so the marketing personnel refers to the employees working in the marketing department. Okay, so I want all of you to actually think about the differences I have shown you in each of these words with regards to the pronunciation and with regards to the meaning. And think about how you can use it in your context. Okay, like I said, in English, if you learn a new word, you've got to learn to use it in writing and in speaking immediately. Otherwise, you will forget it. So do this one thing for me. I want all of you to just put in a comment and tell me which is the new word you've learned and try using that in a sentence. Okay, I'm going to personally check those sentences and give you feedback. Okay, so don't let your mind be boggled anymore because these words are not as confusing as you think, as long as you know what is the difference between them. Okay, so keep learning and keep practicing. I will see you soon. Take care.